to my closet. For those wondering, that's a metaphor for something. This is a Rickenbacker 4003S. More importantly, it's my Rickenbacker 4003S. And today I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to take the channel in a different direction, and instead of doing bass covers, do more shit like this. An objective review by a jackass who actually uses it as a solo bass act on stage. I also wanted this to be sort of like a buyer's guide for those who are looking for a Rickenbacker 4003 or 4003S. That's actually the first thing we'll go over, is the difference between those two. All cosmetic. On the S, you get the funny binding. You get the shark fin inlays. You get the binding on the fingerboard and the body. And for the most part, that's really it. The dual truss rod system, which we'll talk about, is awful. We'll get to in a minute. The susceptibility to weather, which I've learned the hard way, is also like the same, I can assume at least. Bridge, pickups, all that is same shit. Different name. Alright. Basic features of the bass. It is full maple construction besides the fingerboard. The fingerboard is Bubinga rosewood, some kind of funny flavor of rosewood that Rickenbacker likes to use that, according to Warmoth, is like mid-rangey or something. We're gonna go with that. It's made of wood. Now, for having this bass for about 4-ish months now, it's become my main bass. It's the nicest bass I own. I just know. Made in Mexico Fender there. Made in Mexico Fender Precision. Made in Mexico Fender Jazz, which is behind it. And quality-wise, like, do not compare to the Rickenbacker. It's a nicer bass. It's very well built. It's very well put together. I feel like I could toss it, and I could, like, toss it down, like, the entire staircase of my entire college dorm, and it would just hold together just fine. It would be fine. It's very well constructed, and you can kind of just, like, I mean, look at it, and it's just quite sturdy, but also it's really pretty. I really like this bass. It's my favorite. It's neck through, meaning that there are slabs of maple on the back that shoot up throughout the entirety of the bass and make the neck, and then there's two wings on the side that are pushed together to form the Rickenbacker bass. Tuners are Schaller tuners. They use them on all Rickenbackers. They say Rickenbacker on them, but they're really Schaller Rickenbacker tuners. Pickups are Rickenbacker pickups. What else did you expect here? This thing's pretty much bone stock minus the strings. Like, I've really done almost nothing to this. And it has the updated bridge, which is better than the old one because string height is no longer just like a suggestion, which is nice. Things to note that I've learned. It's a little bit on the heavier side. It's no boat anchor, but like this one's like probably 9.5 pounds. And from all the Rickenbackers that I've seen, like on websites like Wildwood Guitars and like the ones where they show weight, they all seem to be in the 9 to 10 pound range really consistently. So that's probably the first thing that I look at when I try to buy a bass, is how much it weighs, because I am small. Quite small. Mustache big, body small. So I try to buy something that like won't kill me on contact, but instead I could use as a weapon. In terms of the dual truss rod system, my God, is this abysmal? Is this awful? I hate it. I hate it. And I think that the Al Cisneros signature model has a single truss rod that kind of acts as two, or some kind of wacky thing. I'll put it up like on the screen for you. And I think if that is like a single slot truss rod, that should be what they're doing moving forward, because there's no point in having two truss rods. I mean, the only real reason is that the necks can twist, and like I think the technology has come along long enough to where we don't have to worry about that as much anymore. Like Warmoth does like stiffening with rods. Like companies are finding solutions to this issue. And yes, Rickenbacker kind of has it a little hard because like the neck is here. The neck also ends here. Like there's like a small heel right here that goes to about fret, what is that, 17? And the rest is thin wood. So I get it, but also like I don't get it. Please stop, Rickenbacker. Please. I finished my tea. For those wondering what tea I use, this is the brand. I'm not sponsored by them. They're like some Colorado company. In terms of playability, very. And in terms of sound, yeah, it makes sounds. Alright, well, now that we've gone over all the basic bullshit, oh yeah, also walnut wings. I'll edit that in. Now that we've gone over all the basic bullshit of how it's constructed, and more importantly, what's in it, how does it sound? For the sound test, everything is going to be clocked at noon on my Geddy Lee 2112Di. It's going straight in, and it's going straight into Reaper, pretty much. Straight into a Focusrite Scarlet. Straight into a Focusrite Scarlet, into Reaper as a DAW. The DAW's running completely clean, and I'm having everything clocked at noon. No drive, no distortion for the main ones, and then later we'll have tones that'll have a bit of distortion. Just a smidge. A bit of distortion, and yeah, it'll sound like a wreck. We're going to go over everything, even the vintage push-pull switch. Hi, Austin from the future here. Yeah, I was editing, and I realized I forgot to mention what the controls are. The controls are tone, volume with a three-way selector switch. The tone for the bridge is a push-pull knob, and this is what they call vintage mode, which basically gives you more high-end. It's like the old Rickenbacker circuits. If you hear stuff like Geddy Lee, Chris Squire, they have older Rickenbackers. That's the circuit that they use. And then sometime in the 80s when the 4003 came around, they changed it to have like a bit more low-end to it, because that's what people always complained about Rickenbackers, is that they're all high-end and no low-end. People got upset. Rickenbacker was like, all right, we'll meet you in the middle, friend, and everyone shook hands and everyone was really happy. Thought I'd mention that. Alright, back to the video. It's a Rickenbacker. It's a Rick. It's really a fucking Rick. And this thing fucking rips on like rock and shit, but it's like deceptively versatile. I use mostly back pickup tone off, and I do Wolfpack covers whenever I'm on stage. Exhibit this Instagram post from my main profile. Like this thing with the tonal versatility, basically having your own separate tone knobs allows a lot of like versatility. It doesn't emulate anything though. If you came into this thinking, oh, I'm gonna find a replacement for my jazz bass, I would think again. It's its own thing. Same thing for your P bass too. Like this thing doesn't even get close to a P bass. It's because it's a Rick. As long as you keep your expectations in the right spot, buying one of these is really awesome. I highly recommend it if you're willing to take care of it. Willing to take care of it. It's a very big thing about these things. They're a little tricky to take care of. You have to have like a good humid environment, otherwise your neck will go wonky like mine did. Mine has a warp in the neck at about frets 1 to 3 on bass side because I left it here over winter break and didn't detune it or anything. That is my fault, and now I have to go to a luthier and pay dollars. Real, human, American dollars to do it. To get it fixed, if it can get fixed. And it probably is just going to need that part of the fretboard leveled or something. I don't know. I'm not a luthier, nor will I claim to be. I'm my own tech, but I'm not a luthier. In terms of tuning stability, it better be really fucking good for the $2,000 that they go for. However, if you're really sneaky and you're really patient, you could actually find one of these for the same price I bought mine, which is around $1,400. Just ask around, offer around, because that's a killer deal on these things. There's just no question. And before you ask it, even with the hump in the neck, do I still use it primarily? Yes, because it is still just a tone that my Fenders just cannot get, that I really thoroughly enjoy. Another thing that's a little wacky about these things is the electronics don't have shielding at all. It has, I'm not even joking, I'm not going to open it up and film it, so I'll just tell you and you can just take my word for it. There is wood and like a patch in the wood that isn't painted like this, or like a, you know, an unfinished, they don't gloss over it, I remember correctly. But there's a serial number drawn on in, like, pencil underneath here. So your serial number on the jack is the same thing here in pencil, which I find really funny and very cool that Rickenbacker actually takes the time and care to do that. But the fact that they take the time and care to do that and not shield the instrument is quite amazing. So, to conclude, will this Willy Wonka have-an-ass bass be exactly what you need to, like, essentially replace all your Fender instruments, all your instruments, period? No. It's its own thing. It belongs in its own category. It's like a Fender P bass and a jazz bass, how their own categories are defined by their pickups, their placements, and their build. Rick is the same thing. Do I recommend it? Yes, but I'd be patient for the right deal to come around. Because if you buy these at full price, I'm just going to say it. You paid probably a little bit too much, at least in my opinion. For what these things can do and what they can push, they're amazing at what they can do best. They're sneakily versatile, and I love it. There's no replacing the Rickenbacker for me. It's a sound that I've never had before, and one that I will probably never find on any other bass. So I love it. If you love it too, go ahead and buy one, pick one up, but I'd wait for the right deal to come across. If you find one that's a little bit banged up, kind of like how mine is right here, got a little shiner, little whack, then pick it up. I mean, these things are fantastic and they're excellently built. Just be willing to take care of it, and you're good. You're set. All right. So what are your thoughts about the Rickenbacker 4003/S? I really covered both instruments minus like some small cosmetic details. But what do you think about them? Do you own one? Do you want one? Do you want one now? Have I persuaded you? If you like the video, please, for the love of God, like it. You would make me very happy. It would also make me very happy if you hit the funny red box that says subscribe. Yes. Fantastic. All right. Well, I've been Floof, the Friendly Ghost. You can just call me Floof. I've been Floof. Happy haunting, everybody. I'll see y'all later. I must return to finish the bit.